With this presentation, we will look at the evolution of administrative cooperation in the field of VAT from 1992 to 2021. Why is administrative cooperation even needed between members of the European Union? The Sixth VAT Directive, which in 1977 harmonized turnover taxes, was the first step towards the EU VAT system. It can be considered as the origin, but it took real shape in the late 80s during the preparation for the entry into force of the internal market. At that time, member states agreed on the temporary principle governing cross-border transactions. VAT should be paid solely in the country of destination. With this, the transitional VAT system for cross-border transactions was set, and administrative cooperation in the field of VAT followed just after. With the disappearance of imports and exports between member states, the new VAT system needed to replace the frontier checks on cross-border transactions with light declarations for taxpayers. As a result, the recapitulative statement was established. With this in place, there was a need for a system of administrative cooperation in the field of VAT between member states, so that they could collaborate and verify these statements. A legal framework in the form of a council regulation was adopted in 1992, and the Standing Committee on Administrative Cooperation, or SCAC, was created to help the Commission in implementing this framework. The first iteration of the legal framework was established just before the internal market, with rudimentary elements necessary for mutual assistance between member states. It also created the VAT Information Exchange System, the core of VAT administrative cooperation until today. SCAC was established mainly to oversee the correct functioning of this electronic system. This legal framework evolved in 2003 to make the cooperation more efficient, mainly through standard forms, but it also provided the base for international controls. It also had the first arrangements for the special schemes for non-established taxable persons providing electronic services to non-taxable persons. The current evolution of the legal framework for VAT administrative cooperation dates from 2010. It has added several targeted measures to enhance cooperation, in particular to address VAT fraud and better serve taxpayers. For the first point, the Eurofisc network has been established, allowing member states to exchange signals swiftly about risky cross-border transactions. Taxpayers were also given access to VIS to allow the validation of VAT numbers and limit their financial risk when supplying goods to another member state. With this in mind, it is clear that the cooperation has deepened since 1993, as necessary to adapt to the evolution of the internal market. The value of cross-border transactions has increased significantly since 1993. The vulnerability of the transitional VAT system meant that it was important for member states to be correctly equipped to effectively prevent cross-border VAT fraud. The number of countries has also changed from 12 to 27, making collaboration more complex. Measures were taken to streamline this cooperation. In recent years, we have also reached out to third countries. It is not covered by the legal framework, but it is an important complementary element, especially for e-commerce. In fact, more agreements are needed with other important trade partners of the European Union to follow the digitalization of trade. VAT rules have also evolved in some specific sectors, in particular for the place of supply of electronically supplied services to non-taxable persons in 2015. The mini one-stop shop simplification that accompanied that change allowed for the collection of more than 15 billion euros of VAT since then. This model was also used for the e-commerce package that will enter into force in July 2021. Important revenue gains are also expected. Another very important element of cooperation between member states is Eurofisc. It is estimated that cross-border VAT fraud represents between 40 and 50 billion euros every year. Eurofisc is essential in tackling this fraud. It is composed of anti-VAT fraud experts from the tax administrations of the member states. They cooperate closely to signal suspicious transactions with the aim of stopping fraud at an early stage and preventing important financial losses for national budgets. Recently, Eurofisc was equipped with a tailor-made software to automate its work. It is called the Transaction Network Analysis. With this new tool, Eurofisc can now supervise 1,800 suspicious traders, representing €3.3 billion in intra-community transactions. Against that background, we cannot avoid mentioning the ongoing COVID pandemic. It affected the human resources of all tax administrations, and consequently control of VAT and the cooperation with other member states. Statistics are not yet available, but we expect an impact on VAT fraud and the overall amount of VAT collected by member states. At first sight, the increase of the VAT gap will be significant, with obvious consequences for national budgets. The Commission will continue its work to make the VAT system more resilient to fraud through better cooperation. For example, the Central Electronic System of Payment Information will be operational in 2024, giving tax administrations new signals about fraud in e-commerce. Given the recent evolution of the Council Regulation 904/2010, we will need to recast in the coming years to provide a clean legal base. We are also working on possible ways to replace recapitulative statements that exist since 1993 using new technologies. We are exploring whether more detailed reporting would address the vulnerabilities of the VAT system, but without overburdening taxable persons with new compliance obligations. This will obviously have a deep impact on VAT administrative cooperation, and VIS in particular. We will work closely with SCAC on these projects. Thank you for your continuous support, and we are looking forward to more decades of good collaboration.